Incremental greetings. Let's continue the Supermemo course, the Pleasurable expansion. Now it's time to learn about the component order. We have seen already the different types of components. By the way, you can have as many components as you want. Well, there's a limit of 100, which is absurd. But the question is, what are the order? Or what the order effect? Is relevant? Has any effect? This order? Yes, it has. Let's first watch what Fowl has to say about the order.
A topic with more than one component, one text component, into another template article picture which only has one text component. So what we're gonna do.
By the way, him and many people say text component, but in reality it's not a text component. It's an HTML component that contains the text. But since they never use the actual plain text component, for them it's the same thing. But to be strict, when Fowl says text component, he means HTML component.
Now is, first of all, check, because yes, this one is our normal text component. This one is from the item template, and we don't want this one because you see, like, you could write here.
They can overlap, or the one component can be absolutely behind another component, impossible to be seen, and so on.
So what we do is alt left click, right click, delete component.
Alt left click. Yeah, one of the ways to achieve it, not the only one. So let me go to my collection. So here I have a flashcard, an item. I have the question, I have the answer, and I have two images in this case. Nice. Then, if I press Ctrl-Shift-O, this is the component order editor. Hey, I can modify the order. In this case, the question, by the way, it's a text, plain text component in my case, it's not an HTML. It's the question, but the answer is the fourth. The images actually are the second and third. I can actually modify that. Nice, this is exactly what I wanted. Well, I still don't know which image is the first one. Is this one and then this other one, or the opposite? There's something I can do. Do you see in the compose? Perhaps you're here. So if you go to the compose panel, there's this icon 1, 2, 3, display component number tags. Here you go, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then I have the type of the component. We have seen this in the previous video. I know it's text, image, and image. And then the element in the registry. This will be the text registry, again text registry, image registry, and image registry. Nice. Then I can click again, and I go back to the same place. If I press tab, hey, look what it does. Now I'm in the second component. Tab once again. I go to the third. Tab again to the fourth, and then to the first one. So I'm cycling through the components by the component order. Then why is useful to have a component order? Because some selections or some features can be triggered without a selection. And what Supermemo does is, hey, this feature affects a component, but no component is selected. So Supermemo will select by default the first one. But the first one is not necessarily this one. It could be the image, and this will be affected. Let me show that to you. Do you remember at the beginning of this course we went through the menus and we had the component menu? What was that? I forgot. No worries, it's there. We go to the main menu, edit, menus. Component is Alt F12. Why it says reading? Because it's this one is a text component. Now what happens if I change it? Remember, Ctrl-Shift-O. Now the image will be first. Actually, the first two images, let's say. It looks the same. If I do the repetition, I have the question and then the answer. Nice. But the images are first. Now, if I go again, I will use the mouse so it's easier to follow. And I zoom on the component menu. Hey, now I have the image. Why? How so? Because Supermemo selected the first component on the order. I can still modify that. I press Q, and Q goes to the first component that is text. When they say text, this means any of those three. HTML, plain text, or rich text, any of those, Q goes there. And if I press A, it goes to the answer. That this is checked as the answer. Remember, goes to the first one because, spoiler alert, you can have up to 100 if you want. And let's say you have 2 at the question and 10 on the answer. As a weird example. Since there are more than one, Q will select the first one. And A will select the first one that is in the answer. How do I know that? Easy. Look at this. A and S stands for answer. So the first text, rich text, or HTML component that has the T, it's true, the answer, will be selected with the A. That's why if you have more than one, because you want to know phonetic reading, side notes, or in a different language, whatever that may be your flow, it's not common to have that, but I have seen people who has this flow. Remember this. You will want to rearrange this order and then save this on the template. So any single item or topic has the same order. That's why it sounds like something silly. Oh, it's just a small detail, but it's one of those things that it's very hard to perceive. And then, hey, this sounds like a little bug, looks like a little bug, it behaves weird, why this works like that, and so on. Why do I get the element menu? Why do I get the component menu from the image, not the text, or something like that? Well, because of those little things. That's why I wanted to invest quite a lot more time to go through this in detail. One last thing, Control-T also does the same thing. You can do Control-T or just Tab. Most of the time it's the same thing. Again, one particular extreme obscure outcome is different, but we can simplify. 99% of the time they will be the same. But I suggest to just use Tab. It's easier to navigate. That's all for now, and see you in the next video.